Coming up, we have stories about the one with the cookie pacifier jar. Baby not mama drama. A Monday cake story with all the spicy drama. Tony Spark's not here this week. He's in DC. Take that, Tony Spark. You got freaking Monday cake story. And we're gonna make the Wednesday stream all cake stories and spicy stories. That way there's none left when he comes back. Because you have to do Wednesday. Yeah. Do you tell your partner when to go to bed? Sometimes she tells me when to go to bed. Stealing your kids' tuition money and intentionally causing drama at a wedding. So just look at it this way. If in the past week your faith in humanity was starting to be restored, we're going to reset that meter right meow. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with a story for you. This one is, am I the astronaut for giving brother-in-law his favorite cookie when he was rude? Or as he calls it, brutally honest. You gave him his favorite cookie when he was rude, like rewarded him for being rude? So this whole thing is a bit confusing, hence why I'm here for some advice. My 17 female oldest sister's 25 female husband, let's say SpongeBob, is just, well, one of those people who would classify themselves as just brutally honest, but are actually kind of rude. My sister doesn't mind and many times has to act as a peacemaker whenever SpongeBob makes a snide remark that causes tension in the family. I love that she's given him the name of SpongeBob, not the normal OP pseudo name, right? SpongeBob. However, he went too far when my other sister, 23 female, told the family that her fiance cheated on her with his coworker, to which SpongeBob said, I am so sorry. He is wrong to do that, but to be frank, you do look different from what you used to, and maybe he lost attraction. Add that to the list. You don't say. I'm ready for an ass whooping. Who? So at some point, brother-in-law has just claimed this like, I get to say whatever the F I want card, which normally happens when you hit like an older age. When you're like, I did my nickel. I don't have to have a filter anymore. And he's like, I'm starting that shit early. I'm reaching societal retirement early where I can just offend people left and right. Got a grandpa like that, but he's a grandpa. Now my sister is struggling with PCOS and has gained weight recently. She's obviously very self-conscious about it and hence started crying after hearing such remarks and left shortly after. My oldest sis, of course, tried to defuse the situation and said that he meant no harm. It's just the way he is. My parents were very angry and for a few months were low contact with my oldest sis, but eventually everyone forgave each other. I don't like how again and again our family had tension because of it, so I came up with an idea. SpongeBob loves chocolate chip cookies that I make, so I made many small cookies, filled them in a jar, and I secretly named Prick Pacifier. And later, whenever he would say something rude, I would open the jar and give him a cookie saying, here's your peace offering. Every time that would happen, everybody would burst out laughing and he would shut up. It's been some time and he hasn't made any snide remarks, but yesterday, my sister texted me how SpongeBob feels disrespected and they won't come for dinners if I don't stop giving him cookies. What?
I'm offended that you're
okay.
offended.
We're almost to the OG post. There's an update, but okay. To that I replied, here, you need a cookie too. Don't be a prick, have a cookie. She called me names and blocked me. My family finds it hilarious, but now think that I might have gone too far. Am I the astronaut? Before we get into the update, how malfunctioning do you have to be to, first of all, let those words come out of your mouth and not just be like, oh shit, I said something I didn't say. Now, not even experience that part of it. Experience no remorse and be like, well, that's just the way I am. I don't have a filter. That's the one that I like a lot. I don't have a filter. That's a you problem. Not having a filter is a you problem. But then to be like, I am powerless against the cookies. I feel disrespected because someone keeps giving me cookies. Because when they give me cookie, I have to take cookie and eat cookie. Like he's got no power to be like, no thanks. It's like, no, it's disrespectful. She keeps giving me cookies. I know it's disrespectful because they laugh, but his explanation here is like, I'm being disrespected by people giving me cookies. The funny part of that is that he takes the cookie and he eats it. Give me cookie, got your cookie. I just, like his wife has accepted that's just the way he is. And yeah, trying to change somebody like this is an uphill battle, right? Like we all know somebody like this who, quick poll in chat, knows somebody like this and has tried to change them. Nobody even tries with these folks, right? Does anybody even try? Yeah, I just walk in the door and be like, hey, Go ahead and give me 10. I plan on being a real big asshole tonight. All right, here's the update. Okay, so I think for now the situation is sorted somehow, thanks everyone who commented, because for a moment I did think I went too far, lol. Okay, so after I got blocked, I told mom about it, and she said she would talk to my oldest sister and asked me to stay away from the matter for now, but reassured me everything would be fine. I don't know what exactly happened, but my sis, 23 female, told me later about it. Apparently, my oldest sis vented about the whole thing to our cousins, who are all very close, and from there, many people from our extended family also found out about the cookie story. They all formed a group chat that included my cousins, both my sisters, my mom, and my aunts. I wasn't included as the adults wanted to discuss the matter on their own. Well, they all basically shared their own experiences when SpongeBob was rude to them as well. Like when he said that one of our cousins' wedding was sort of tacky, or when he was criticizing my other cousin because she didn't know how to cook so her husband does most of it. This guy. There were a lot more things which were being told, and my oldest sis, let's call her Buttercup, had no idea of them. They all found the cookie story hilarious too, and even said that they will keep small cookie jars at their homes just in case. Well, I think Buttercup was sort of embarrassed because she said she will have a chat with SpongeBob, and later he came to the group chat and apologized. I don't know how genuine that was, but oh well. He even texted me and told me even though he is still hurt, but he understood where I was coming from, and I can now stop giving him cookies that way. I apologized too, out of respect, and offered him the cookie jar, but this time as an apology. He said he would accept the peace offering. My sis unblocked me and said she was sorry for lashing out. I love the idea that someone told me about the cupcakes, and my cousins and I decided that is probably what we're going to make if he acts brutally honest again, because oh well, who won't like a little cupcake? Cupcakes. I like that. I feel like cupcakes are something that the person who up needs to make, though. That's a peace offering, right? That's a peace offering.
It's so important to remember, someone said that OP couldn't take the advice that brother-in-law was dishing out. That wasn't advice.
What advice?
That wasn't advice. Telling someone that they're overweight is not advice. That's just a statement, and a rude statement.
In defense of the person who broke your heart and cheated on you, you aren't as hot as you used to be.
Sorry that you're suffering with PCOS, but you still look fat.
What is the advice there?
There's no advice. This is just the criticism. This is just negative criticism. This is mean shit and shit that your brain should filter for you. If you have something where your brain doesn't help you filter that, it doesn't mean that what you do isn't offensive. Like you're still, at the end of the day, a person is still responsible for their actions, even if it leads, whatever that may lead to, whatever has caused it. Like we're still responsible for what we do to other people, no matter what our intentions are. In what we're trying to say. So I think that's super important.
It is important too.
It's important.
It is important.
Yes.
It's important. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another story for you here. This one is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Refusing to Treat My Ex's Sort of Girlfriend Like Another Parent to My Unborn Babies and Sitting Down with My Ex and her to lay out some facts about how things will go. I, 25 female, am pregnant with twins. Their father, 26 male, and I were together for almost a decade. Things seemed great at the start of my pregnancy, but then 11-ish weeks in, he told me he had feelings for Amy, 24 female, who is/was friends with benefits with one of his two best friends. Okay, time out. First of all, yes, red flag land. But secondly here, like,
Your brain is like,
your world is so confuzzled and complex, like complex fuckery going on here that like already title in one sentence in, I'm like, done. But yeah, red flags for boyfriend here. 11-ish weeks into the pregnancy being like, you know what?
this just ain't.
I really feel like I've got feelings for somebody who doesn't have a baby bump right now and like isn't gaining weight. He told me he didn't feel like we should stay together just for the babies, and we'd work it out. I told him that was fine, that I wasn't going to stay while he had any kind of affair, be it emotional or physical, with her any longer. He told me nothing physical had happened yet, and I told him I didn't care if it did or didn't, because even if it hadn't, that was a yet, and if it wasn't Amy, it would be somebody else. Bravo to you, OP. Amy and him ended up together, which came as no surprise, but then he told me he hated being away from me and he regretted doing this to us. I heard him out for a week before I made it clear that there was no going back and we would never be a couple again. His relationship with Amy has been off and on. Even when they're off, they try to present it as this united front and have wanted me to involve both of them in pregnancy stuff. Amy wanted to talk baby names with me, and she was wanting us to go shopping for baby stuff together.
Fish. What?
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm the one who made your now ex, but still baby daddy, cheat. And I think we both would agree that I have a vote when it comes to baby names. And I was just thinking something like Sizzle. Snap. No, Snap would be that's right, they're twins. So just plan on having a third. These first two will be Snap and Crackle. And then maybe we'll have one and he could be Pop. And the three could just be like best friends. Oh my God. She even tried to say how crazy it was for me to be having twins when X and her have no twins in their families. Like she counted herself and her family in that. I ignored most of these requests and I communicated clearly and through text or email for anything I did respond to. I'm sorry I'm moving so slow in the story, but what the f-? She was like, it's really weird that your child between you and your ex that I am now sleeping with doesn't have any of my genetic traits. But it was getting crazier with the request, and the thing that bothered me the most is that they are not stable at all. And they're trying to put that on me, saying if they were treated as a couple who were going to be equally part of the baby's lives, they wouldn't have so much trouble. What, in the relationship? Oh, cool. Yeah, you need that extra pressure right now, OP. Not just to the two humans, like taking everything you got inside. You need people on the outside taking everything you got as well. My ex even said he felt like he had to be with me to be a real dad to the babies. I just can't with this guy. When they mentioned her being at the birth, I knew we all needed to sit down and talk. I didn't trust my ex to be honest about what I would say, and so I told him we could meet once and talk it all out, the three of us. They met me with a bunch of crazy expectations, like how both of them would come see the babies at my house when his visitation would start. Overnights don't start until 4 to 6 months of new babies in our state. They wanted all of us to make decisions, and they were thinking she could be a mama to the babies. I let them talk, and I wrote down all the expectations they had, and then I told them they were crazy to expect all of that. I said if my ex wants to be present at the birth, I'm okay with that. If they want to discuss things between themselves, then I cannot stop them. But I won't be taking her advice on baby's name. Discussions will be between me and my ex. I told them if they were together when my ex started overnights, I could not stop Amy from being there, but she was not coming to my house. I told them if they were in a stable enough relationship and settling down, maybe we could all work together for the benefit of the children involved. But if they're on and off again the whole time, it won't happen. I said I want my babies to be the priority, but that didn't mean I was out here looking for them to have a second mom or for the two of them to try and outvote me and push for what they want. Also smart. What? They're 2 votes and you're 1 in their mind? Okay. And I told my ex that if he and Amy break up for good, or if he misses the kids and wants to be around more, that it won't convince me to take him back. I told him I was serious about that and he needed to fully accept that. And I brought that up because some of his body language and how he was looking at me made me feel like he was being too intimate for 2 people who are not a couple anymore and never will be. Hold on. This was during the meeting with the 3 of you? And he's like, wow, she's like taking charge and that's man, baby, now I see why I got you pregnant. Kind of like to do it again. Amy said it was the confusion of everything, and if I could take them as a package deal, he'd find it easier. I told her I had already told them the reality of everything. They tried to argue, but I just left once I realized they weren't going to stay calm or discuss things reasonably. My ex has emailed a few times in the days since and told me that I need to work with them instead of against them, and I'm making all of this harder than it should be, and to think of our babies. He said he's trying to be an involved dad. I reminded him I'm not stopping him. But am I the astronaut for how I'm handling this? I'm trying to put the babies first, but I don't think that means treating Amy as mommy too and acting like this is some family unit when they can't even stay together for 4-ish months since the breakup. Top comment, lawyer fast. OP's response already done. My lawyer has helped me keep on track of documenting and saving proof of things. Thank God. Holy crap. Okay, hold on. I got a couple buttons to press here real quick. First one's this. Tater thoughts. Heat lamps on. We got a fresh order going up here. It's a biggin. Also, baby daddy side piece. Bizzo. Both of them. Delulu. Baby daddy. Brozo. Both of them. Audacity level 100 has been achieved. What in the actual fried I don't know.
Why do you think he's dragging his side piece along to the council meeting? Because this man can't do a thing by himself because he was babied by his mom, and then he was babied by his girlfriend, and now he went and found somebody else because his girlfriend was going to have to baby 2 actual babies, and so he had to go find somebody else to baby his sorry piece of shit ass.
Tighter, what do you think?
I'd like to apologize for breaking Dusty with this story. But also,
I don't even know if I can read any more stories. My brain is just like...
I don't understand how X and Amy, it just feels like they're trying to force OP into some kind of throuple. Like, it's like a 3 relationship thing where, like, they're running the show and OP is basically just their surrogate. And I don't understand what's happening. But the one thing that in this story, like, that kept me grounded and made me choose it was the fact that OP was just like, well, like, she's not fazed by any of this, which makes me think that this man has just been like this for their decade-long relationship. Like, they were together since
a dumbass.
15.
A dumbass, yes.
Yeah,
A dumbass, yes. I agree.
They were together since they were 15, and I feel like she might have been overcompensating for his inability to grow up. Because I feel like she nurtured him through his teenage years, and he never grew the up. At some point, OP grew up and became a full adult, and this man was just like, yeah, I don't have to. By the way, I'm gonna go somebody else because I might have feelings for this person, even though you're pregnant with 2 of my babies.
Yeah. He's like, I already 2 into you, so like mission accomplished, and now I have more territories to conquer.
Yeah, he I have no words for this 25-year-old man who needs to pull his head out of his ass. Like, dude, grow up.
I think, okay, first of all, you said she overcompensated. She overgrew up because he wouldn't grow up at all. And now,
Bingo.
like, probably acted like a mother figure to him because he's a brozo dipshit. Which sparked this thought for me. Like, how many people are out there in that same situation? A lot.
Who've never
Like,
grew.
whenever you see couples and you see one of them,
Yes, Rebecca,
call
exactly.
it mostly the dude because it's mostly the dude being very, very immature, and the other partner there has to be like overly mature to police the other one. Like what?
Right.
But also, I think there's another possibility here, and that is that often dudes freak out whenever his partner became pregnant and shit got real. For the first time in his life, shit got real.
That's a good
He
point.
didn't know what to do, and he ran. And probably regrets it now. Not enough to not drag his side piece along to the council meeting.
Why do you think he's dragging his side piece along to the council meeting? Because this man can't do a thing by himself because he was babied by his mom, and then he was babied by his girlfriend, and now he went and found somebody else because his girlfriend was going to have to baby 2 actual babies, and so he had to go find somebody else to baby his sorry piece of shit ass, and now look what he's brought into the equation.
Okay.
Amy, here comes Amy, like pretending she's a mom, and then
Thank
OP
you,
is just a surrogate. Like,
Thank you,
my
Amy.
God, I feel like we need to get, like, Jerry Springer needs to come back. We need to get this up on the stage, and we need to just settle this once and for all. And let's see what Amy brings to the table. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
this-
see that. He went
this
out,
man will never
He went
grow
out and
up.
picked her, not just because he freaked out, not just because maybe she's getting less attractive
But I feel
because
like I
she's
just
starting to
cracked
put
an
on
egg,
weight.
you guys.
You cracked my egg.
My yolk is like on the floor right now.
Okay, so he also went out and found her so that someone could take care of him because
someone had to
his
wipe
ex
his
will be
ass.
busy taking care of the babies. Wow.
Yeah, because she's obviously, like, very, like,
That she would.
very, like,
What is
controlling.
Oh,
Like,
man.
really, like, wants to take control
That's not
of
what
everybody.
I got from. It sounds like she's very.
super controlling of everything. She's like, oh, by the way, I know those babies are in your belly, but I think I want to name them. Veto, bitch. Okay, next story.
Cake story time. Oh, I took away my cake button so I could do other buttons. Title of this story is Am I the Astronaut for Refusing to Apologize for Slapping My Boyfriend When He Smashed Our Birthday Cake to My Face? Oh my. My female 34 boyfriend, Charles, male 38, and I celebrate our birthdays together. This year, I contributed a small private room at a restaurant, and we invited 11 people. 4 of them are my local friends. The rest are his family members. I wanted to celebrate a new achievement in my career and thought it would be great just to splurge a little and get some delicious food. So we had access to the menu, drinks, and our cake. I had agreed to pay for half of the food aside from having rented the small space myself. The space was paid for in advance, the food at the end, as in any restaurant. We had issues last year because I felt that he was doing low effort things while I always did my best to give him a nice birthday celebration. We have an income gap, but it wasn't even about money. I was making less money last year and I still made things work for him. Okay, interesting. When OP mentioned income gap here with all the previous information, I was expecting her to come in and be like, he makes quite a bit less than me. However, I still expect some effort here, but that is not the case. At least says last year I was making less money and I still made things work for him. So this year he took care of inviting people, paid for the cake, and got me a spice rack as a present, which I loved. I made myself pretty, got my eyebrows and eyelashes done, and had my hair done. We were told to pose and pretend to blow out the candles because I didn't want to blow our germs on the cake. Then we each had a picture alone with the cake. When it was my turn, I was holding the cake when he pushed my face towards the cake, so I tried to fight it. His family started cheering, and he arched over my body and forced me to bend over until my face smashed the cake. My friends tried to get him off of me, and he resorted to plastering the cake and frosting on my hair. Well, that escalated quickly.
That's abuse.
That's like abuse in public. If the person is fighting against it, they don't want to do it. So he got more leverage. That's no bueno. I don't need to describe the mess because I'll never be able to in this post, but I ended up slapping him when he attempted to do it again. He tried to do it again. It wasn't even the first time that it happened when she retaliated. It was the second attempt. His mother got up and she got into an argument with one of my guests. I had to cross the main floor with cake all over my face to use the restroom. When I looked in the mirror, I had cake on my neck and my blouse had red and blue coloring that didn't come off. I had to wash my face and got my hair in a bun because it looked less messy that way. When I came back, his family were all long faces. I told him what he did was unacceptable, and he said it was just a joke, that everybody has done that for ages, and that slapping him just ruined my image in front of his family. I started crying and gathered all my stuff to leave. I notified him that he should pay for himself and his guests. My friends insisted on paying for their own food, but I refused, and we ended the night right there. My friends wanted to treat me to having dinner elsewhere, but I wasn't comfortable with my appearance. They ended up sending me the money that I spent, and that broke my heart. Charles had to pay for half of the remaining bill and got charged a cleaning fee. I still love him, but I'm clear that I'll never be able to forgive him. We talked about it and I ended things. He's convinced that I never loved him. He acknowledged what he did was wrong, but is adamant that his family hates me for slapping him and that it's my fault. I told him that he ruined not only our birthday, but also my way to celebrate my career milestone. I've worked very hard to get where I am and that his behavior showed me what my future would look like. And that I'm sorry to say it, but he was so aggressive and so focused on making his family laugh at my expense that I just realized he's not good enough. And I've lost my confidence to be seen in public with him because I don't know what else he will pull out of his ass. He said he paid for the cake, that he's not saying that it was okay to smash it, but it's not like I paid for everything. That was his defense to what you said, OP? You're like, look, I've just discovered through this instance, when you became a maniac cake-wielding caveman, that I deserve better, and I don't trust you. And he's like, I paid for the cake. Okay.
That gives you the right to assault somebody with it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Most abusers bring their own abuse tools. Congratulations, I guess, for that. Important. I'm not proud of my reaction. We've never had any physical altercations. He says his mother feels humiliated because of what I did and that she has been struggling with mild depression for years. I didn't know. And I came off as violent. Am I the astronaut for refusing? I already blocked him. Hold up, mama. Hold up, mama. Okay, it wasn't the grown-ass man hunching over to gain leverage to force a woman to bend over and smash her face in the cake. That was violent. It was when he tried to do it again, you slapped him. That was violence. I think we've discovered part of what Mama's depression is about. I think she's been trained that something's okay. OP? You did the right thing here. You defended yourself, but also you had the clarity to say, okay, it's not just about this, and I'm not gonna, it's not just about this. It is about the future. And I think part of this is because OP's 34? And he was 38. So like, I think in your 30s, you start to gain that projection wisdom to be like, okay, I'm making choices right now for 10 years from now, not just for right now. And being able to look at that and say, okay, this is where that's headed. Nope. Not even once is okay. And that already happened. I will not risk it again, ever. Nobody wants to deal with a family like that. Yeah, okay. That's why the family was long faces, and that's why she came out in the family. This is the family thing, right? Okay. Mama, that's why you got depression. And yeah, I will not be a party to continuing that cycle. Deuces. Somebody's fighting against it. Not unless like you agree ahead of time there's going to be a playful thing that we're going to do at our wedding or whatever, but it's good gravy. Her now ex, I'm going to go ahead and apply this to, because it's just all kinds of wrong. And the fact that he attempted to do it twice, like, I'm sorry, dude. You graduated from Ask On One up to black hole status. You're the worst. With the family's reaction, I think we kind of see why he is the way he is, though, right? But OP, like you chose you, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Hey there, it is Dusty Thunder with yet another story for you. This one is, am I the astronaut for refusing to go to bed when told to? But I don't want to. My boyfriend and I have been together for about 6 months. Last night, while he was ready to go to sleep, I was still engrossed in a book and told him I planned to keep reading for a while. Even laid in bed with him for a bit until he drifted off. That seems like a compromise to me. I then returned to the living room to continue reading and totally got caught up in the story and ended up finishing the whole book. The book was Jurassic Park, for those wondering. It is such a great read. Around 1:30 a.m., he woke up and came out to find me still reading. He seemed really upset. I explained that I had just gotten into the book and lost track of time. I apologized and reassured him that I'd be back in bed soon. He told me not to be annoyed in the morning when he woke me up early, and I said that was fine. Morning rolls around, and even though it's my day off, I got out of bed at 5:50 a.m. and made him lunch. And also, like I promised, I wasn't grumpy or short with him, but he was still upset. He wouldn't kiss me goodbye and got irritated when I tried to talk to him about it. I'm struggling to understand what I did wrong. I get that sleep is important, but I didn't break any promises. I handled my morning responsibilities and was respectful of his routine. Am I the astronaut for staying up late to finish my book, even though I followed through on everything the next day? Would you be upset in this situation?
What the is he upset about?
I think I have an answer.
She's not the asshole.
I think I have the answer here. Yeah, agreed. Tater Thoughts here says NTA. Natalie in Kansas City, he has no reason to be upset. You're right. He has no reason. Here's the problem. He had already decided to be upset because he was counting on her being a little grumpy in the morning, and he wanted the ability to say, see, I told you so. But he was still going to be grumpy then too, because he's going to be like, great, now you're going to be an F&B all freaking day because you didn't listen to me. See? And you took that from him. So now he's grumpy. Because you're not grumpy. And he had already decided to be grumpy, so guess what? Either way, he gets to be grumpy. In his mind, not saying this is right, not saying that condones anything or explains it away. I think he had already just decided. He's got nothing to be upset about, and that is what he's upset about. This is complicated in like a dumb kind of way. Angel Drop in the 2 said withholding affection for control is abuse. It is. A little bit different than, hunching someone over and forcing their body into a food item. But yeah. But most likely he's just a dick. At least, here's the devil's advocate part. I don't sleep well without Nick in bed now. I struggle the 3 or so nights without him now. Maybe he has to have her in bed and grumpy because he didn't sleep well. Okay, here's my rebuttal to that. OP wasn't like, you're on your own tonight. I'm staying out here. OP tucked him in, cuddled up with him for a bit until he fell asleep, and then OP slithered out and was like, now I get to have some me time. Must admit, this is a similar strategy that I have whenever I have to work late. And that's my compromise. We'll watch a show, we'll spoon, she'll pass out, and then I'll go get my shit done, and the only thing I'm sacrificing is an hour of sleep. Like, it's fine. It's worth it. OP says worth it. So Tater, we got to bring you up because you're on the other side of this where I've done this exact same thing hundreds of times. Do you wake up feeling any kind of way because I wasn't there while you were unconscious? Okay. Hold up before I get brozoed again here by chat. Tater thoughts time, ladies and gents.
I gotta do it again.
This made me think of something that's really funny and totally not about the story. But I took part of a gummy and he was working. And I don't know why, but this part of the gummy made me feel really like fun, elevated. And so last night, that sounded really bad. Last night I was falling asleep and I said something to you because I thought that you were in bed and like I could feel your presence.
But I was here.
But you were not. Yeah, you were not in bed at all. And I was like, I was so concerned when you didn't respond. And then I was like, babe, so that I turned over and I was like, he's not there. But I felt like that you were there. I felt your presence. So maybe if you're missing your partner and you don't like sleeping alone, I recommend a gummy. But no, this guy's an asshole. I feel like he just...
The partner that never leaves you.
Here's...
Gummies.
Something was there. It was the ghost of Dusty's past.
Turns out it was just Oliver trying to finally make his way in your ass. He was spooning.
No, I feel like this is the part that bothers me the most is that this is, just want to make sure, 6 months into a relationship. 6 months into a relationship and like you can't read a book because your boyfriend's getting pissed. And I think anyone that reads books knows how it goes, especially when you've read this book for the first time and you're into like a really good part and you just can't stop because you just keep reading and that sleep never comes because your brain is so active. And I understand why OP was the way that they are and why they stayed up so late. But I feel like this guy waking up the next morning and just like stomping around and being a dick when this person still got up, made your lunch, like tried to kiss you, tried to send you off, all these things, and like you're just radiating anger for what reason?
Because he had already decided.
Yeah, I think the issue is if he's not able to communicate to you why he's angry, that would be like strike one for me. Because 6 months into a relationship and you're already not communicating what's going on, like I feel like that's a big red flag. That would be. It's weird. This is a weird thing to do. Like.
There's another red flag I'd like to point out to you.
Yes.
One that we haven't talked about yet. Come to find out this is OP's day off toward the end. And what did he say before, whenever he came out at like 1:30 something and she was in the living room reading her book? What did he say?
He told her not to be annoyed in the morning when he woke me up early and I said that was fine.
Why does he need to wake her up early on her day off?
Because he's an asshole.
Because he needed somebody to make his lunch. Like
I'd make his lunch and
that comment it was posted in my head as I read through it.
Throw it
I'm
in
like,
his
that's
car.
important. Let's hang on to that. And I think it's another control tactic here. It is. I am mad because you would not let me control you.
I'm happy to get up and like help you, or if you're like doing something to make your lunch, whatever that looks like. I'm happy to do that on my own, but waking me up on my day off at 5:50 to do something that you could do on your
dare.
Exactly. That would just make me mad, especially if it's like Tuesdays are my day. That's my full day off, like no work whatsoever. I would be pissed. I would be annoyed.
I not gonna lie, the thought crossed my mind today. I'm like, man, I wonder if I could ask Candy Thunder to take Ava to drive with her in the morning. I was already planning on it. And then I was like, I cannot ask her to do that on her day off. I cannot ask. Angel pointed out living together six months in is a red flag there too, potentially. I think
it's not.
How long did we?
I don't know if they're living together or just staying together, and that wasn't the one that part that made me wonder. It was just the fact that he was acting like this so soon into their relationship, where it was just like inability to tell his partner, like, hey, this upsets me, because instead of just making them feel like a piece of shit for no reason, and now she's questioning, she or he, I'm not sure, OP doesn't specify, but now they're questioning what they've done wrong. I don't know.
Okay, so we've talked about this before, and the whole year one thing, Tater's awkward moonwalking out of frame. We've talked about this before. It's not year one of marriage that is when you learn to communicate, because that's when the difficult shit happens. It's year one of living together, right? I don't know how you and I got through this in the very beginning when I was like, I have to balance being able to work late at night because I have all this extra shit I need to do. And I want to be sure to water our relationship. Not in like a, yeah. You understand? You understand? Yes. Wasn't going there. Wasn't going to say it. You said it. I don't know how we got through that. I don't know when we started communicating about that. I don't know when that became a thing. And maybe this is what it looks like in the beginning. Maybe I was a grumpy brozo. And
You never treated us.
I don't think so either. But my point is that you don't learn to communicate through these kinds of things until these kinds of things happen, right? And that's when you start learning the nuances of the relationship with this person because you're like, oh, I never imagined that would be a thing. We've got to figure out how to talk about it. He's got to figure out how to talk, period, about his feelings. He's got to be able to self-reflect. He's got to be able to identify those things, unless this truly is a maniacal plot to just control you. Either way, not good. But OP, NTA for refusing to go to bed when told to. We have a spicy story for you. Title of this story is Am I the Astronaut for telling my son's girlfriend to stay away from him because she is distracting him from his responsibilities? I, 50 male, am a single father to my son, 15 male. My then girlfriend got addicted to drugs and walked out shortly after he was born. She is no longer in our lives. My son has been making exceptional grades and he plays for his high school's baseball team. He's pretty good at that, though my opinion may be a little biased, LOL, anyway. That was until he started dating a girl, 17 female. They met when they were assigned as partners on a project, and I guess they hit it off pretty fast because this came out of the blue for me when I picked him up one day and he just said, Dad, I have a girlfriend now. I was proud and excited for him that my son was finally becoming a man. I also had a remedial version of the talk with him, can never be too careful. They've been dating for the past few months and they seem very happy together, but my problem is that my son's grades have been slipping. He's been skipping out on chores at the house and missing practice and games.
This is a single.
Yeah, it's a single dad. 50-year-old single dad, son is 15 years old. I'm not mad that he is dating, however, that should come after business, school, baseball, etc. So last week I told him that he's no longer allowed to spend time with her unless he gets his shit together, and he responded, but Dad, I really like this girl. I told him, that doesn't matter. If you fail and flunk out of school, I don't want you seeing her, and that's final. This is probably one of those, like, wish I would have said something different moments. He sighed and said, fine. I figured that was the end of it. Well, until yesterday when I come back home from the store and I found them on the living room couch together. He lied to me and said he would have a friend over to study. My son froze like a deer in the headlights. I told him to go to his room, and then I turned to his girlfriend. Now, I'll admit I might have been a little too stern, but I told her, get the hell out of my house and stay away from my son. He doesn't need this distraction. And if I ever catch the two of you together again, it won't be pretty for either of you. The parent of this other kid be like, don't threaten my child because your son lied to you. Then the waterworks started. She stormed out. I go upstairs to my son, who was already on the phone telling my mother and my sister his aunt and grandmother have always spoiled him. I take the phone and try to explain, but I get lectured for being too hard on him. He's just a boy, etc. I'm trying to keep my son from ruining his life before it even starts. If he fixes his grades and everything, he can see her again. So I figured it'd be best to get an unbiased third-party opinion. Am I the astronaut? Before we dive into the update, let's talk about this a wee bit. Okay. So, as a recovering helicopter parent, learning that your kids have to make their own mistakes. Don't give me that look. That look just said to me, recovering, question mark? I saw it.
No, I didn't think anything.
You thought it.
That's projecting.
Your face has captions.
That is true.
It's your listening face?
Yeah.
Learning to let your kids make their own mistakes is a really, really tough lesson for a parent to make, especially when those kids are teenagers. Gosh dang, that is tough. And they're so confused about the world and trying to figure out like which way is up, and they're feeling things and they don't know what the hell's going on there either. And it makes everything up here fuzzy and they start making stupid decisions. But talk to them, talk about the why, and talk about why they need to make the decision, right? Help them, guide them, be the lighthouse. Only be the warden when there's no other choice. Like there is a point, I think, for me at least, where the warden would step in. Martial law would go into effect. but not at step 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Like there needs to be develop an understanding, educate your son about why this is the wrong choice. Try to get him to make the right choice, because if you take this route and you try to force him on it, exactly what's going to happen happens here, where he just hides it from you. So he's probably got a 3 for me based on 1. But yeah, ask on 1 for intimidating a teenage girl. Like no, that's not okay. Here is the update. Okay, so first, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to give me this well-deserved, years-long, overdue attitude adjustment. I was an asshole in this situation. While I was right to be worried about my son's academic performance and his responsibilities at home, I will admit that I let my temper get the best of me, and I acted on impulse with how I handled this situation. Timeout. Green flag OP. Just learn to self-reflect, yo. BFD. Be like, okay, you're right. Yeah, I see it. I see it. I shouldn't have yelled at the girl. After talking to my son, it turns out that he never told her he wasn't allowed to see her. No shit. She didn't know, and I should have gone to my son instead of taking it out on her. No shit. My job plus the past drama from my ex leaving are not stresses that I can self-manage anymore. I'm done lying to myself, and I will be looking into therapy soon. My son has invited her over for dinner later this week. I plan to apologize and explain the situation, and I'll try to work with him to have fair rules that will encourage my son to stop slacking off while also allowing him to spend time with her. You get more flies with honey than vinegar, and prohibition will only make my son lie and sneak around, which could lead to him doing dangerous or irresponsible things. I showed my son some of the comments, and he's been laughing his ass off at everyone roasting me, LOL. I may post another update this week after dinner if I remember. Thanks. Salute emoji. It's not often, I know there's other little updates in here too, but it's not often that you get somebody who on the first receipt of feedback is like, it's the complete opposite of my worldview, and it's right. It's rare. It's rare. I mean, he's got to be so confused about how to deal with everything, and he's a boy dad. We do have to remember that, right? Here's update 2. Well, folks, my son just told via text that he spoke to her at school and she has accepted our dinner invitation for tomorrow. Expect another update. Here's update 3. Before getting to that, though, I'm surprised her parents will allow her to go back unless they don't really know the whole story there. You know what I mean? Update 3. Hey folks, thanks for sticking around through this mess. All right, let's get to it. So my son brought her over for dinner, and the first thing I did was apologize to her, both for yelling and for telling her to leave. I emphasized that she was innocent in the situation and I shouldn't have reacted the way that I did. She accepted my apology, and now I feel a little less like a monster, LOL. I also fully explained the situation with my son slacking off, and she was extremely understanding. Turns out she's actually a pretty smart girl herself. Honor Society, 4.0, AP classes, etc. She had no idea. He lied to her too. Turns out my son has been, downplaying to her just how bad he's been slacking off. She's actually willing to help me hold him accountable. She has a car, so she'll start taking him to baseball practice and his games. It actually makes it easier on me, and it means they'll be able to see each other more after school while ensuring he actually goes. Plus, he's more motivated to go if she's there supporting him. That, and she'll also start helping him study so he can get his grades back up. Again, they can spend time together outside of school, but he'll also get his homework done. She joked and said that his household chores were on him, though. She draws the line at his dirty underwear, LOL. I like her. Coincidentally, that's where the teenage son also draws the line. Skid mark, dirty under. Should have just left that one alone. Okay. However, my son did agree to start doing better at cleaning up after himself around the house. You know, it really is amazing what can happen when you express your concerns through a discussion instead of a lecture or rant. It actually felt like my son was taking in and understanding what I was telling him instead of just, get a load of this, old man. And for some backstory about my son's girlfriend, turns out they used my house for their primary hangout spot because her parents don't like her relationship with him. Apparently, they were glad that my little outburst the other day scared her away, hopefully for good. I don't really know how to feel about that. That could be troubling. I was half expecting an angry dad to be on my doorstep. Whatever happened from there would be 100% on me, LOL. Anyway, I also told them that they were welcome to hang out at the house anytime, within reason, of course, and I don't want them sneaking around and getting into trouble, and if they ever need privacy, just to let me know, not directly, LOL, and I'll find a reason to be out of the house for a few hours, no question asked. Just be safe and smart. Try not to make me a grandfather until my pension is firing on all cylinders. Okay, I that's a little too understanding for me. I don't think any of our kids, I'm going to be like, just put a sock on the door and I'll know. Like, no, nope. I'm really happy and proud of my son. I'm glad that he's starting to experience love for the first time. Once his girlfriend left, I half-jokingly told him, don't screw this up. She really cares about you and had a heart to forgive my ass after what I did. Thanks to the fine people on this subreddit for the advice and the course correction. So all things considered, I think this situation is resolved and all is forgiven. Thanks, folks. Well done, OP. Well done, OP. I like it. For the first part of this, OP, ask on 3 for how you handled your son. Ask on 1 for how you dealt with a teenage girl. You did get to a point of redemption here. I'm still gonna downgrade you the whole thing to ask on 3. I think you probably still have a conversation with her parents imminent, and it may be one that you want to initiate here. I don't know. You may need to get some more recon on them folks before you dive into that. But I think there's a potential complication there that could negatively impact your son's future as well. So if you're being engaged and proactive here, I think that's something you can't ignore down the road. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another story for you. This one is, am I the astronaut for leaving my girlfriend at a wedding after she told the bride I used to have a crush on her?
Oh no.
I, 27 male, was invited to a friend's wedding last weekend. Not someone I talk to every day, but we were close back in college and stayed in touch. The bride and I had a flirty friendship back in the day. College. Nothing ever happened, but I did used to have a bit of a crush on her. Early in my relationship with my girlfriend, 26 female, I mentioned that in passing. Just one of those, haha, yeah, college was messy conversations. The wedding itself was great. My girlfriend and I got dressed up, had a couple of drinks, and danced a little. At some point, I noticed she and the bride talking by the bar. They were smiling, laughing, nothing seemed up until the bride started acting really weird around me, like distant, uncomfortable. Later, one of the bridesmaids, who I also know, pulls me aside and goes, hey, just so you know, your girlfriend told the bride you used to be in love with her and that she should watch herself tonight. That's a little different than we were led to believe in the title, OP. That's not telling somebody that you had a crush on them. Your girlfriend told the bride you were her stalker. There's a big difference. Words matter. I honestly didn't know what to say. I confronted my girlfriend about it and she didn't deny it. She said, I didn't want to cause drama, but I thought she deserved to know the history.
You 100%
Did she?
wanted to cause
But
trouble.
what kind of shit person does this at someone else's wedding? It's like, I'm going to go ruin that bride's day. I'm going to ruin my boyfriend's day. I'm going to ruin this bitch for everybody. I told her there was no history. And even if there had been, saying something like that at someone else's wedding was completely out of line. She got super defensive, saying I was blowing it out of proportion and caring more about the bride's feeling than hers. I told her I was embarrassed, hurt, and honestly kind of shocked by how casually she had tried to stir the pot at someone else's wedding. She ended up dismissing everything I said, told me to get over it and stop making a scene. Excuse me? Look, I'm pointing at the scene that you created. I'm not making it. You made it. So I said, F it, and I left. I got in the car and drove home without her. I figured she'd find a way back with one of her friends. She knew several people there. She eventually did, but now she's saying I abandoned her. And a couple of her friends are messaging me saying that I humiliated her and I'm an awful person for just leaving without her. I don't feel like I was wrong to walk away, but I was just super upset, and I'm starting to think the way I handled it was a bit over the top. Am I the astronaut? Nah.
Nope.
No. Listen, Linda. Okay. At every f***ing turn, this person who up until this event was your girlfriend and once at the event decided that she was going to be Galactus, devourer of worlds. She became a different person, man. Every single decision she made was for maximum dramatic effect. Every single f***ing one of them. Go back and make a flow chart. Possible options, max damage every time. You're upset? All right, just gaslight you. Oh, you left without her? Oh, okay, she's the victim in that situation too. Maximum drama every turn. This was her intent. The scene was her intent. My question is, why? Tater, I think we need you to talk about the why. Ladies and gentlemen, for the final time this evening, Tater Thoughts time. You're good. Smile for me. There you go. Yep.
I'm kind of stumped on this one. I don't know why. The only thing I can think of is that the day was about somebody else and she wanted attention on her, and the only way to do that was to throw someone else under the bus and share this brand new piece of information that she found out.
But she's known about it for a while, right?
But the bride didn't know.
The bride didn't.
Yeah,
So do you think it was more
I
about
don't know.
her not having attention on herself, period, or was it about her being jealous because OP used to have a crush on the bride? Does that matter more,
Maybe.
or is it just?
It just feels like she wanted to be included in some kind of. She used the information like a trading card. Like, I'm going to tell you this so that I can be in good with you because it's your day and I want the focus to be on me. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But
Some people just want to watch the world
jealous.
burn.
Yeah, some people. And if you have information, and I'm sure the bride knew that he had a crush on her. I'm sure they had like a thing going or whatever. But I think the girlfriend wanted, like, you have information, you want to share it, and you want to get in with somebody. And
Having tea
There you go.
made her feel like she had value.
There you go.
Possible. And Nisa saw your comment there too. You think the bride was gorgeous and the girlfriend was jealous. Okay, she could have seen her and been like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, I gotta knock that down a peg. So
Whatever the reason, she was a petty little bitch. Like, there's no other way around that. You were a f***ing bitch. You went in there knowing that this information was going to harm your significant other, knowing that that's not information you share to a bride. Like, the only thing you did was make an ass out of yourself. And the bride probably distanced herself from him and from her because I feel like she made herself look even worse. If I'm getting married, I don't want someone coming up to me and telling me that someone used to have a crush on me. Like, that's a weird thing to do at a wedding.
There's
And that
absolutely no reason to do that for anyone's benefit.
Exactly.
It doesn't.
This is more about her than it does about the person who had the crush in college.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this to me gives off like weird creeper vibes. And I don't know why, but it feels very creepy.
Like a crippling insecurity on a couple of different fronts because OP had a crush, or maybe because she looked just stunning and she couldn't handle that, or just mayhem seeking. She's like the mayhem commercial dude, but like in girlfriend at a wedding form.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Keep yourself better protected from mayhem, like her.
She just wants to, I don't know. It's like, I wouldn't be with this person because this is like strike 1, 2, and 3. Like, you're out. You're done.
Right.
This is an awful thing to do to a bride at her wedding. This is an awful thing to do to your partner. I think he had every right to leave this person at the wedding because she was a total bitch.
Absolutely. And if you were living together, I'd
I don't know if it said how
have her shit waiting for her. Nothing was an issue, at least as far as we know, for Mopey until this wedding happened. It's
Right.
like, is there something about weddings that makes people crazy? Does it just maybe? We need to dive into that. Katie the Red Drops 2 over here and said, waiter, can I get some attention? A la mode.
That's exactly how
Love
I
it.
feel. That's what I felt about it. I don't know why
Love
she
it.
wanted the attention. Only she knows that, or maybe she doesn't. Maybe she just craves it and doesn't know why. Either way, seek help, hun.
Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content, and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.